Okay, welcome everyone. As the Shir is co-sponsored by the Rezepkowitz family in honor of their parents, it's co-sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Chazan. L'ufu Shalema for Yedidya ben Pnina, Shoshana Bas Pnina, Simone Bas Rachel. It's co-sponsored by Binyamin Rivlin, Litluinish Mas Yitzchak ben Avram Yehuda Alevi. It's co-sponsored by Shelley Zeitlin for his children, Eli, Orit, and Ora. It's sponsored by Barak Goldwasser, for Shlema for Moshe Meir ben Esther Pradel, Dov Meir ben Chaya Gittel, and for Hakar Satayv to the Shir. It's sponsored by Shalom Fogel, Lili Nishmas Yaakov Zev ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam bas God, Yosef ben Sion ben Yaakov Zev, and we continue to learn for our Chaver Hadaf, Aaron Swade, Aaron ben Sarah. You should have a refuah shalema b'seich sharchel Yisrael. We are Chaim Kramer is here. You're sitting in Chaim's seat. You just move over if you want. We have an item that's arriving. I guess we are holding before Pesach, so everybody is a little bit tardy, or I'm a little bit early. So anyway, we've been discussing an argument between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua if the Mashiach will come at a predestined time, or if it's dependent upon Klal Yisrael doing tshuva. And Amalai, top line of Tzadik Chesam and Aleph, Amalei Rabbi Eliezer said to Rabbi Yeshua, Valai Kvar Nema Im Toshav Yisrael Nom Hashem, if Klal Yisrael returns and does repents, then Elai Toshav, then you will return to me. Amalei Rabbi Yeshua Valai Kvar Nema Ve'eshma Eso Ish Levush Habadim, and I heard a man who was dressed in linen and flax, who was elevated above the waters, and he lifted his right and his left hands to Shemayim, and he swore by the life of the world, for a season, in 2 seasons, v'chatzi, and a half a season. This is what we had before, Eden and v'chatzi Eden, u'kechalois nofetz, and when there will be the end of nafatz, of the strength, Yad Am Kodesh, the hands of the holy people, they will be at their wits' end. Tichlena kol eila, all of the suffering shall cease. So that implies that there is some sort of designated time. Says the Gemara, V'shasak Rebbe Eliezer. Rebbe Eliezer was quiet. Over here, in summation, the Art Scroll does bring down that the Rambam says that there is a dependency upon Klal Yisrael doing tshuva. However, we're going to see shortly that there's a Gemara that tells us that there is a choice. Either Mashiach will come be'ita, in its time, or if we're deserving and we do tshuva achishena, then the Mashiach will be hastened and will come quicker. V'amar Rabbi Abba, Ein lecha kates megula mizeh. There is no forecasted end more apparent than this. Shenemar, there will be a sign that the mountains of Israel will start growing a proliferation of fruit. Ein lecha kates megula mizeh. Shenemar v'atem hora Yisrael. You, O mountains of Israel, anpechem titenu, all of a sudden you will produce branches, and upiryachem tisu, and grow fruit, la'ame Yisrael, for my nation Yisrael. Others say it will be in the miraculous way of the future, where fruits will be produced on the day that they're planted. The Gemara tells us, Rabbi Lazar Aimer, Af Mized is another sign, Shenemar, Ki Lefnei Hayomim, before the days, Schara Odom Loiniya, there won't be any employment. Uschara Beheimei Nena, nobody will be able to lease their animals. V'leyoytzi v'laba ein shalom min atzar, and those that are going in and out will have no peace from the adversaries. There won't be safety, and the Gemara is going to add there won't be safety even for Talmidei Chachamim that normally are protected. What does it mean that they won't have peace from adversaries? So says the Gemara, so Fisher is having trouble getting in over here. Says the Gemara, Rav Amar Af Talmidei Chachamim, even Talmidei Chachamim, Shekosabem Shalom, that usually have peace. It says Talmidei Chachamim, they don't have to pay the skull tax, the Gemara says in Bava Basra, because the Torah protects them. So even Talmidei Chacham Shekosbem Shalom, Dichsiv Shalom Rav La'av Eisor Secha, great peace to those that love your Torah. Ein Shalom Neitzar, they won't have peace from the adversary. Ushmuel Amar Achir Kol She'orim Kulon Shkulim. It will be a time where all commodities will be the same price, and in all places, and the meaning of that there won't be the Yaitse Laba means that people that are into import and export won't have any reason to make money because it's going to be worth the same all over.
What does that mean? Eggs will be 50 cents all over the world?
Yes, it'll be the same price all over the world. Yeah. Amr Rabbi Chanina, Ein ben David ba, the son of David, the Mashiach won't come. Achi is bakish dog l'chayla. You'll look for a fish to give to an ill person. Loyalenu v'lo yimatzei. The waters will be like congealed like oil, and aquatic life will not thrive. As the Gemara says, Amr Reb Chanina ein ben David ba bikesh dog l'chayla v'lo yimatzei. Until you search for a fish for a chayla, you won't find it. Shenemar oz ashkia meimehem. The waters will go down very deep. V'narosam, and the rivers kashemen olich will flow like oil. It will become hardened, and aquatic life will not thrive. V'ksiv b'yoymahu, and at that time, atzmiach keren lebeis Yisrael, I will cause to sprout the horn of Beis Yisrael and bring the geula. Am Reb Chama bar Chanina ben David ba at shetichla malchus hazala mi Yisrael. The Ben David won't come. Now here there's a big shaila what malchus hazala means. One shot in malchus hazala is Rome. In other words, the despised malchus, which is called all over Shas, the malchus harisha, the wicked government. At shetichla malchus hazala mi Yisrael, it will end its reign over Klal Yisrael, but the others learn that Pshat is Malchus Hazala means that Klal Yisrael will have no more reign whatsoever. Shenemar the Charas Hazalzalim Bamizmeiris, and he will cut the growths with pruning shears. Uksib Basrei Ba'isahi Yuval Shaila Hashem. A present will be brought to Hashem Tzvakos. To the nation that's Mamusha Chumoria, to the nation that's pulled and plucked. Right? Plucking out here. Those that learn that it means the Roman government will be cut, learn that Bamazmeiros is a lashon of Mizmoros, that they'll be cut because of the Mizmorei Tehillim that Klal Yisrael says. Amar Zeiri, Amar Reb Chanina, Ein ben David ba, Mashiach won't come, Achiyichlu Gasei Aruach mi Yisrael, until arrogance and haughtiness ceases to exist by Klal Yisrael. Shenema ki oz oser mikirbeich. I will remove from your midst alize gavosech, those that exalt in pride and in arrogance and in haughtiness. Uksivish arti bikirbecha, I will bikirbeich, I will leave in your midst. Am oni v'dol, a nation that's poor and needy. V'chasu b'shem Hashem, and they will be able to take coverage. They will be able to take protection and shelter in the name of Hashem. Am Rab Simlai. Mishim Rabbi Elazar Reb Shimon. Rabbi Simlai says in the name of Rabbi Elazar Reb Shimon, Ein ben David ba, ad sheyichlu kol shoftim v'shaytim Yisrael, until there seizes the judges and enforcers that are corrupt in Yisrael. Shenema v'ashiva yodi alayach, I will hold my hand over you. Ve'etzra kabor sigoyach, and I will wash away and refine, like with detergent, all of your dregs. Then I'll return righteous judges. Amra Papa, Ibatli Yehire, if the arrogant sees, then Batli Amgushe, then the magicians will seize. Yes, I did. Oh, what a Gemara to skip. Amar Ula. There's a good Gemara to learn before Pesach. We'll talk about this in our Chumash this week. If you want to sponsor the Chumash, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Ein ben David, Ein Yerushalayim niptes, Yerushalayim won't be redeemed, ela b'tzedakah. Shenema tzion b'mishpat tipadeh, Tzion will be redeemed with justice. Vishaveha, and those that will return will only return b'tzedakah, through charity. Amra Papa, Ibatle Yehire, if the arrogant sees, Batle Amgushe, then sorcerers will seize, magicians will seize. Ibatle Daine, if the corrupt judges will cede, then Batle Gazirpati, the corrupt, idolatrous judges, which enforce themselves on Klal Yisrael, will also cease. This we know, the Etzrei Kabor Sigoyech, I will refine like with detergent your dregs, and then V'asira Kol B'diloyech, I will remove the tin. Now, how does B'diloyech come to mean the magicians? That takes a little bit of a little bit of fancy footwork over here. How does that come to mean? So they learn that the Amgushi, who relied on his sorcery, is removed. Badil means badil, right? To be separate, like Havdalah. Is separate from the belief of God. That's why he's called B'dilayach, and he will be cleansed away when arrogance ends. V'i batle daine batle gazirpate, d'chsev heishu Hashem ishpatayach. When Hashem removes your corrupt judges, then pino oivech, then he will erase your enemies. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, if you see a generation where the Jews are diminishing, and some say that this means, I think, financially being impoverished, if you see a generation that is dwindling financially, you could hope for the Mashiach, a nation that's poor will be saved. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, if you see a generation that this stress is pouring down on it like a river, this they said at the time of the Nazis, hope to him, when a adversary comes like a torrential river, Ruach Hashem noisus abai. The Spirit of Hashem is encased in it and is eating with it. After that, there will come to Tzion the Redeemer. Many people expected that after World War II, there would be the footsteps of the Geula. We did see incredible chen from the Rebbeinu Shalom after World War II. After World War II, the survivors that came and rebuilt Judaism saw a growth that was unimaginable. The growth of Torah in the world now surpassed pre-war Judaism. You know, what we read about all the Yiddishkeit that was pre-war, the amount of people learning Torah nowadays surpassed that number. So,
I went to an article that the charity that we give now surpassed even the Golden Age of Spain.
Okay, it makes sense because the numbers are greater. The numbers are phenomenal that we have over here. You know, in Borough Park alone, I know this to be true 10 years ago. In Borough Park alone, there's 7 billionaires, just in Borough Park alone. In Lakewood, there are quite a few billionaires as well. One of the bankers that I know at 1700 Madison used to work in Borough Park, and he told me that Lakewood has surpassed Borough Park. Lakewood is and with it is tremendous tzedakah. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Ein ben David ba, ela b'dor shekulei zakai or kulei chayiv. Ben David will only come, Mashiach will only come to a generation that's either all meritorious or all guilty. It'll be so bad that the Rebbeinu Shalom, the idea is just that we were saved in Mitzrayim when we got to the 49th degree of Tumah, and we'd have stayed a second later, we would have been doomed. So that would be, in the worst case scenario, the time for Mashiach, when we sunk so low that if the Rebbeinu Shalom didn't bring it, we would finish. And we know that Klal Yisrael will never be finished. Like it says, V'lo Yosef Mizaram in Megillas Esther. It will never leave from our people. Our people will never be finished.
Why does it mean all virtuous?
Or it could be that we all became virtuous. There's a choice. Right? The two extremes. That's correct. There's a chance. If more people come to the Agudah Fairways, we're on our way, you know. No middle, right. Or if it comes its time, right? That's what we said. There's a time. There's a designated time. One way or another, it's coming. As the Gemara says, B'dor shekulei zakai, what's the source if the generation is completely righteous? If the nation is all righteous, then lo'ilam yirshu haaretz, then they will forever inherit the land. B'dor shekulei chayiv, d'chsiv vayar ki ein ish, Hashem saw there was no man, vayishtoimein, and he was shocked, ki ein mafkia, there's no one to entreat anymore. Uksiv lamani yaseh, then I will do for my sake, says Hashem. Now it says, Ani Hashem be'ita achishena, in its time, and I will hurry it. Now that's a contradiction in terms, right? It's Ani Hashem be'ita in its time, but achishena, I will hurry it. So Amar Rabbi Alexandre, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Rami, he asks a contradiction. Ksiv be'ita, in her time, and yet uksiv achishena, that I will hasten it. So the Gemara says, Zachu achishena. If we merit it, then Hashem will hurry it along. Loi zachu, then it's going to come be'ita in its time. Amar Rabbi Alexandri, and you know something? I was waiting for more people to come, but I could be a little bit of a mensch now and greet everybody. Irving Fishbaum, Saba, Yaakov Warman, Mel Zachter, Menachem Yemansky, Nachman Chapler, Baruch Ian, Shelley Zeitlin, Stephen Holtzman, Mark Frankel, Marshall Castle, Eddie Chazan, Reuven Pollack, Shimon Klein, Michael Itchy, Dr. Guy, Dr. Block, Yisrael Fisher, Moshe Lehman, Dov Solkowitz, Rabbi Kranz, Yitzi Muller, Abe Arbach, Ilya Shutman, Avram Rezepkowitz, David Helfgott on Kololosh, and here we have Berish Gesseman, Chaim Kramer, Michal Avram, Reuven Shannon, and Mendel Deutsch. It's good to have all of you joining us. If anybody sees Shlomo Yehuda around, please tell him we miss him. I don't know where he is. It could be away, but his presence is missed. Marshall Castle actually told me that he has a Shalom Bayis night, so he's busy, but he says he might join us yet for the Chak. And of course, we send a shout out to Aaron, who we hope is listening to us maybe during the day in the hospital. And again, we wish a refuah to Aaron Ben Sarah. The Gemara now continues. Remember, tomorrow night is the first Pesach Shir. Tomorrow night is the first Pesach Shir. Again, if anybody wants to sponsor, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Usually Pesach Shirs have more than one sponsor. If anybody wants to sponsor it, please let me know. Also later this evening, there will be a Chak. Okay, and we welcome in Avram Schenkman. Avram, I was so distressed that you had to leave from the shul. We will make sure that after the cleaning lady does the shul, we will make sure to open the windows so that there shouldn't be harsh smell. And I'm sorry about that. It's always a balance. You want to disinfect the shul as much as possible, but you also don't want to chase the people away by the smell. Well, but it's a sign that it's clean.
A few hours in between, they do it earlier than right.
Well, we have no shlita on that. We work with an agency. We pay a lot of money. You would think that if we pay a lot of money and we work with an agency, we would have some say. We don't have any say. They call us up today. She's coming at this time. Today, she's coming at this time. But at least we have a clean shul.
Before Mashiach chutzpah.
Amar Rabbi Alexandri, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Rami. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi asks the following contradiction: Ksiv va'aru and behold, im anei shmaya, together with the heavens, the clouds of the heavens, kebar enosh osei, a form of a human will come. Uksiv, on the other hand, it says ani v'roichev alachamar, that Mashiach will be a poor man riding on a donkey. So the Gemara says, Zachu, if we merit iman anei shmaya, he will come by way of the clouds. Loi zachu, if we don't merit it, then he'll be ani v'roichev alachamar. He'll be a poor man riding on a donkey. Amalei Shava Malka l'Shmuel, the Persian king Shava Malka, who was very benevolent to the Jews, said to Shmuel, Amrisa Mashiach al Chamra Asi, you say that Mashiach is going to come on a donkey, you know what? Ishadalei Susya Barka D'Isli. I'll send him the most royal stallion that I have in my stable. Amalei, so he says, yeah, you're a stallion. Mi islach bar chivrei gavnei. Do you have a donkey that's 100 colors? You think Mashiach is going to come with a regular donkey? Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, ashkach le'yo. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, throughout the generations, great people had Gilui Eliyahu. Great people had revelations of Eliyahu. The Chassam Sofer had Gilui Eliyahu. What's the tefillah sefer that we have over here? Olas Tamid, right? Yeah, the Olas Tamid, the Mechaber of the Olas Tamid, it's brought down in the in the Haggadah that I have from the, what's a Rebbe with a T in Eretz Yisrael? No, I forget, but in his Sefer he says, the Mechaber of the Elas Tamid, Reb Shmuel Shmelka ben Nickelsburg, who lived in his time, acknowledged it, that the Mechaber of Elas Tamid had regular Gilui Eliyahu. Regular Gilui Eliyahu. That's an amazing Sefer. But we have it in our hands, somebody who had regular Gilui Eliyahu. But anyway, of course, the great Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi was on first-hand basis with Eliyahu Navi. So Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Ashkach Eliyahu, he found Eliyahu, he was standing by the opening of the grave, of the cave of Rabbi Yeshua ben Yochai. Amalei, Asinu la'almadasi, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says, will I come to the afterlife? So Amalei, so he said to him, if the Shechina who was with them wants it. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Shnayim Ra'isi, I heard two voices, Shnayim Ra'isi, I saw two people, that's Eliyahu and myself, but Bekel Shloisha Shamati, I heard a third voice, because we were in the presence of the Shechina. So then I asked Eliyahu, Eimas Osi Mashiach, when will Mashiach come? Amalei Zil Shailei L'didei, go and ask Mashiach himself. Be'echa Yosef, where did he live? Where does he live? Apiska de Karta. He lives at the gate of the city. O my simoni, how will I recognize him? Yosef Beinei Aniyei Soivlei Chaloim. He sits amongst the poor people who are suffering from sickness, and their people shun them, and by the gates of the city. Now, the kulan sharu va'asirei b'chad zimna. They tie and they untie and redo their bandages at one time. However, Ihu, the Mashiach, shari chad va'asir chad, undoes each bandage individually, because if he would do it all and then Hashem would say, go and appear, he would be delayed. Amar Dilma Miba'ina, maybe I'll be summoned, and therefore I want to be able to get my act together right away, that I shouldn't be delayed to appear. Obviously, he suffers for the sins of Klal Yisrael. So he went by him. Amalei Shalom Alecha Rabbi Umari. Peace unto you, my Rebbe, my master. Amalei Shalom Alecha Bar Levi. So Mashiach said to him, peace unto you, the son of Levi. Le'emas Asimar. When is master going to come? Amalei Hayom, today. The day passed and he didn't come. So also the Gabi Eliyahu came before Eliyahu. Amalei. So Eliyahu said to him, my Amalach, what did he tell you? Amalei, he said, Shalom Alecha Bar Levi. Peace unto you, son of Levi. Oh, Eliyahu said, that's a very good sign. Amalei, Aftachach Lach V'La'avuch La'amudas. He wouldn't have said peace to you. He guaranteed that you and your father will have Olam Haba. Amalei, he says, what do you mean? Shakurika Shakarbi. He lied to me. Damali Hayom Asina, he said, today I'm going to come V'Layasa. Amalei, he says, you didn't understand what he meant. Hachi Amalei, Hayom im B'Kailoi Sishmo. Today, if they hearken to my words, every day is a propitious time for me to come, if the people would deserve it. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. It's really a remarkable story. My wife's side of the family has an extensive family tree, going all the way back to the Spanish Inquisition. One branch of the Weiss family, Ashkenazim, came out of Spain. And we have a family tree. So Our family tree traces us, one of my grandfathers, direct grandfathers, is called the Nagid in the family tree. He's referred to as a Nagid. Nagid is a title that they gave to a phenomenally wealthy person. They used to call him Rav Yochum HaNagid. So one of my Zaydas was Rav Yochum. So Rav Yochum was extremely wealthy. He was extremely wealthy. So he sent to the Chassam Sofer that he wants one of the Bachrim in the yeshiva for his for his daughter, and he's willing to pay. He's willing to pay that he could learn. So Chassam Sofer answered him that should wait till the end of the Zman. The end of the Zman, he'll have a better, clearer picture, and he'll tell him a candidate. So at the end of the Zman, he sent him a name, so they arranged a shidduch with the daughter. But this young man showed up with pants that had like bell bottoms. Now that was a style in those days for those that weren't ultra Haredi. And he spoke to the young man. He was very impressed with the young man. But he sent back to the Chassam Sofer that it was a wonderful man, but the fact that he wore those pants, that doesn't work for my family. So the Chassam Sofer sent him back. If so, then I want your daughter for my son. That's the Chassam Sofer. So Rav Yochum's daughter, my Zayda's daughter, married the Chassam Sofer. Now, my youngest brother Yitzchak said, "How come we don't have any girls named after the Chassam Sofer's wife? It's a direct relative of ours." So he said, "Let me find out about her." He found out that her name was Chava Gittel. Rebbetzin Chassam Sofer was Chava Gittel. And she had a custom, so I'm saying this because of this Gemara, she had a custom that she would visit the poor of the city that was sick, and she would do their laundry. And her sisters would not allow her to bring the laundry into the house. So these are sick people, what are you doing? Remember, they grew up, he was a nugget, they grew up in a royal mansion. So she used to go to the river and wash the sick people's clothing, the sick poor people's clothing, and bring it back to them. And one day, one of the poor people said to her, "I give you a blessing, young lady, that you should marry someone like me." And her sisters heard about it and mocked her and said to her, "You see, you're going to marry, you're messing around with these unclean people, you're going to marry somebody like him." And she got to marry the Chassam Sofer. So who knows, maybe that person was the Mashiach. Right? As it says, he hangs around by the gate with the poor people. So this is part one of the story. Part two of the story is that my brother popularized this and everything. My brother he has, Baruch Hashem, a very large family, and he's not well off by any means. But he attends Rabbi Borenstein's shir, and he helps Rabbi Borenstein. He works for Noki Radio, so he has a lot of technical knowledge. So he helps Rabbi Borenstein when he needs technical help. So Rabbi Borenstein made a big siyum by the Chassam Sofer. And he took some Gevirim along with him. And he decided to offer a few pro bono. And since my brother helped him, he offered him a pro bono trip, and my brother ended up being able to be mispalel by the grave of this Chava Gittel, who he named his daughter after. Really a remarkable story, One more postscript about this Chava Gittel, it's brought down that who was she? She was a daughter-in-law of the Chassam Sofer. So they asked her something about the Chassam Sofer. So she said that she remembers sitting by the Seder of her Shver, and at the Seder she said she could not look at the face of her Shver. It had such a shine that she could not look at the face of the Chassam Sofer. Mark has no problem looking at me. I see that, no problem whatsoever. But she could not. It says by the Seder, "U'b'mayre gadol zu gilui shchina," and the great people, they were zeicha. She said she remembers she could not look at the face of her shver. Obviously, she was able to look at the face of her shver other times, but at the Seder, she could not look at the face. It had such a shine that she couldn't look. Now, you got me started over. You got me, Ruvain says, Rabbi Weiss, it's getting late, you know what I mean? But Ruvain gets up very late in the morning. You're not like me. But when Ruvain gets up when I'm just about to go to sleep, but not really, not that bad. But not anymore. My wife caused me to do a little bit tshuva on that. But not too long after you go to sleep. I go to sleep when you get up. But anyway, just one more postscript about this to remember what Rav Elyashiv said. That Rav Elyashiv I told you this went viral recently. Rav Elyashiv was visited by Rav Meir Zlotowitz. And Rav Elyashiv stood up for Rav Meir Zlotowitz. Rav Meir Zlotowitz, why are you standing? The Paisik Hadar is standing up. He says, I'm not standing up for you, I'm standing up for your Rebbe. Because Rav Zlotowitz, of course, who was a Talmud of Rav David, beforehand was a Talmud of Rav Moshe. So Rav Elyashiv said to him, by way of explanation, your Rebbe would have been a Gadol Adar 10 generations ago. So Meir Zlotowitz knows history, so he thought, and he said, does Rav Elyashiv mean even during the generation of the Chassam Sofer? Rav Elyashiv said, yes. Even in the generation of the Chassam Sofer, Rav Moshe would be a Gadol Adar. That's what Rav Elyashiv said.
I think I asked you, I said that in each generation, like, we're all judged, and then not only in this generation, but how do we fall in other generations also? I mean, each one on the...
No, we're not judged for other generations. We're judged for our generation. We're just, as a matter of fact, it's brought down that the Gdolim of our generation will have to do with our judgment. Because it says, Dor Dor v'Darshav, Dor Dor Manhigav. Every generation has to have its Darshanim. Even somebody like Reb Shamshon Raphael Hirsch, who was not so long ago, has no idea the temptations of the internet. Reb Shamshon Raphael Hirsch didn't know what a cell phone was, didn't know what a computer was. The idea, the nisyanis that we have today, a child left in a room with a computer has more temptations than they ever had in Stein Vamayr. It's a completely different world. Shalu, anyway, you're right, garrulous is the right word. Shaul Talmidav Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma. The disciples asked Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma, Eimasai ben David ba. When will Ben David come? Amar misyari ani shemetik vaksh mimenu ois. If I tell you, you're going to ask me for a supernatural sign. He was a very humble person. Amalei, they said, Ein anam vaksh mimchais. We won't ask you for a sign. Amalehem kish. They were in Rome. He said, Likishiyipol hashar hazeh. When this gate falls, maybe he was talking about the Titus gate. I don't know which gate, but he says when this gate falls, v'yiboneh, and it will be rebuilt, v'yipol, it'll fall again, v'yiboneh, and they'll want to rebuild it, v'ema, speak and live nice, and they want to get a chance to rebuild it, ad sheben David ba, until the Mashiach comes. So Amalai, even though they said to him that they won't, Amrullah Rabbeinu tein lanu ais, give us a sign. Amalehem, so he said to them, didn't I say to you, didn't you say to me, you won't ask me for a sign? Amalai Afal became, even so. Amalehem, he said to them, Im kain, yehavchu mei ma'oris pamius, may the waters that come out from the cave of Pamius, ladam, turn into blood, v'nepchu ladam, and it turned into blood. I don't know if you saw recently, there was a vision of a river that turned into blood. Did anybody see that? Yeah. Huh? Where was that? Somewhere on the other side of the world, but it was a Peladic Gazak. It all of a sudden turned red. It was really interesting. B'shas Petirasai, when Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma was passing away, Amar lahem hamiku li aroni. Make my oren very deep. Very deep. She'en kol dekel v'dekel shebebavel. There isn't a palm tree in Babylonia. She'en sus shel parsiyim nikshubai. That a horse of the Persians won't be tied to. That's how many warriors there will be from Persia. Ve'en loch kol oren v'oren. And there's no grave, no casket. Shebe'eretz Yisrael. She'ein sus modai, that the marauders won't exhume and turn it into troughs for their horses. She'ein sus modai oichel b'itaven, that the horses of Medes won't eat from its straw. We don't really know what nation Medes are referring to. Amarav, Ein ben David ba, the Ben David will not come until the wicked Roman Malchus will hold sway over Al Yisrael 9 months. I will place them ad eis yoleda yalda, until the amount of time for a woman to give birth. V'yaser achav, and then afterwards, the remainder of the brethren, Yeshuvan al Bnei Yisrael will return to the Bnei Yisrael. Amar Ula said, you know what, the travail of the time of Mashiach, Milchamas Gog and Magog, is so horrific. Yesi, let him come, v'lo yichman mine. I don't want to be there to see it. V'chein Amar Rabba, Yesi v'lo yichmine. Rav Yosef says, Yesi, let him come, v'azake, and I should merit to see it, even the Asa Betula, the Kafisa, the Chamre. Even if I be so disgraced that I have to be dwelling in the dung of his donkey, in the shadow of the dung of his donkey. Amar Abaye l'Rabba, so Abaye said to Rabba, my time, why don't you want to see it? If it's because of the birth pangs of Mashiach, Vatanya Sholu Talmidav es Rabbi Lazar, the Talmidav asked Rabbi Lazar, Ma Yasa Adam B'Yanatzal Mechavle Shel Mashiach. What should a person do to be saved from the birth pangs of Mashiach? Yasik b'Torah b'Gemilas Chasadim. He should do Torah and Chesed. Omar ha-Torah v'Gemilas Chasadim. The master has Torah and acts of kindness. So what are you afraid of? What is the master afraid of? Amalei. So he said to him, Shema Yigram Achet. I'm afraid that sin might have caused me to lose my protection. The Rabbi Yaakov Aridi Rami. Rabbi Yaakov Aridi asked the contradiction. Ksiv hinei anoichi imach Hashem told Yaakov, I'll be with you. Ushmarticha b'chol asher telech. And I'll guard you in all that you go. V'ksiv, but it also says, Vayira Yaakov ma'id. Yaakov was very fearful. Vayitzalai, and he was distressed. So, but why? If Hashem offered him divine protection, why was he afraid? He was afraid that maybe sin would cause him to lose his protection. Kedetanya, like we learn about the time of Ezra. It says, Ad Yavramcha Hashem, until your nation crosses over, Zubi Rishayna. That's when we came into Eretz Yeshua. Ad Yavaram Zu Kanisa, the nation that you acquired, Zubi Yashnia, this is the coming into Eretz with Ezra. There should have been a miraculous entry by Ezra, Kabir Rishayna. Ezra was certainly worthy of it. The sin of Klal Yisrael caused that we shouldn't get that promise. Another protection, by the way, against the Chevlei Mashiach is making sure to eat 3 meals on Shabbos. That's what it says. It says that if you eat Shalosh Sudas b'Shabbos, you're protected from Dina Shel Gehenim, from Chevlei Mashiach, and from Milchamas Gog Magog. That's why it's very important to make sure that the women also eat Shalosh Sudas. I told you when I was scholar in residence, I was scholar resident of Rabbi Heinemann Shul. So Rabbi Heinemann didn't have a shul Shalosh Sudas. Instead, he had a takana that people came back to the shul 20 minutes before Mariv, and he spoke 20 minutes before Mariv, but people ate Shalosh Sudas at home. And I asked him why he did it that way, and he said because he's afraid that if people don't eat Shalosh Sudas at home, their wives and daughters won't eat Shalosh Sudas. And Shalosh Sudas is very important for protection. There are, of course, arguments the other way around, and that is that a shul Shalosh Sudas is very important because it provides a little time for social activity. It's like they say, if you don't want people to talk in shul, you have to give them a little time to talk. Right? So the little time to talk is during Shalosh Sudas. It gives them a little time for social interaction. And likewise did Rabbi Yochanan say, and by the way, Rabbi said, do you realize, don't take it for granted, these incredibly beautiful Gemaras that we're learning. It's like Rav Moshe said, don't just expect a pat on the back, but thank Hashem that we have the privilege to be learning this. It's really, these are remarkable Gemaras. V'chein amar Rabbi Yochanan, Yesei, let him come, v'lo yichmane. I don't want to see it. Amar Reish Lakish, my time. Why? Reish Lakish challenges Rabbi Yochanan. Why? Ilai memishim dichsiv, kasher yonus ish mipnei ho'ari. It's like, at that time, like a person who runs away from a lion, or pagu adayv, and he meets up with a bear, or ba'abayis, and he runs into his house with samach yadei alakir, and he puts his hand on the wall, v'nashku nachash, and he's bitten by a snake. So there was trouble all around. He says, we have that today too. We have the same thing now. When he goes out to the field, he meets the town clerk who could diminish his property. It's like he met up with a lion. Nichnas Le'eri enters the city, Paga by Gabbai, he's met by the tax collector, Daima Kimish Pagadaiv. Nichnas Lebeisa, Yomatzabanav Banaisa Mutal Murav, and he finds his sons and daughters and they don't have what to eat. Daima Kamisha Nashru Nachash, he'll feel like he's bitten by a snake. For somebody to see his children not be able to have what to eat, feel like they're bitten by a snake. Ella, what's the reason why Rabbi Yochanan did not want to see the time of Mashiach? The reason is, Mishum Dechsiv Shalu Na. Inquire. Ru'u im Yeled Zochar. And see. if a male child is born, right? Go and ask and see. Excuse me. Go and ask. Ru'u im yalad zacher. You know, when I learned this, I thought of an alternate pshat and what this means today. Today, Nebuch, there are people that look like men that are giving birth. Transgender people. They look completely like a man and they're giving birth.
I thought those men who ate a lot.
What?
I thought those were men who ate a lot. They had big bellies.
Shalna Ru'u Im Yoylei Zacher. It's not a matter of amusement whatsoever. It's a very serious thing. Because it's happening to Yiddish kinder. The Yiddish girls that are cutting off their dadim, they're self-mutilating themselves. You know, kudos to President Trump that he's at least making it difficult for minors to do it. Minors were doing it, and it was government paid. At least he's making it difficult for minors to do it. He's helping Yiddish kinder. Shaluna, Ru'uim Yoylei Zacher, and see if a man gives birth. Madua Ra'isi Kol Gedber. Why do I see every man Yodov al Chalotzav? He's holding his hands in pain by the loins, Keyaleda, like a woman who's giving birth. V'nefchu Kol Ponav Liyerakin. And all faces will look jaundiced, will look yellowish. So the Gemara says, remember we're explaining why Rabbi Yochanan didn't want to see the time of Mashiach. Myra isi kol gever. What does it mean? I saw all men. Amarav by Yitzchak Amarav Misha kol gevura shalai. I see the one who all power is his. The one who all power is his. Feels bad. Why? He feels bad because he's going to have to destroy the other nations. Now, the Rabbeinu Shalom is not happy. They're also his creations. So he's not happy about that. Amar Rav bar Rav Yitzchak Amar Rav Misha kol gvura shalai. Umay v'nefchu kol panim liyeraken. And all faces are jaundiced. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, this is referring to Pamalia Shel Mala, the upper realm, or Pamalia Shel Mata, and also the people, the Jewish people below. B'shasha Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem will say, Ay, halalu ma'isi yadai, v'halalu ma'isi yadai. These are my handiwork, and these are my handiwork. Heich abed elu mipnei elu. They're all, it's like I told you, Rapam was not happy when somebody called the guy a shegitz. Shegitz means a sheketz, disgusting thing. He says a guy is also tzelem elikim. You don't call it tzelem elikim a sheketz. The fact that he's going to have to destroy the goyim is not making Hashem happy. This is a very unusual, popular saying. Person had a choice ox, and he had a special trough where he fed the ox from. The ox ran and injured itself. So while it was healing, he let the horse eat from the trough. Then when the ox got better, he had to send away the horse. And it wasn't easy for him to send away the horse. So that's the way it is with the Rabbeinu Shalom. It's not easy for him to punish all the guy. Amrav Gidol Amarav Asidin Yisrael the Achlei Shnei Mashiach. The Klal Yisrael is destined to enjoy the years of Mashiach. Amrav Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Pshita, it's obvious. Ve'alaman Ochelu, who should enjoy them? Chilik and Bilik Ochelu? Should Chilik and Bilik enjoy them? Now, Chilik and Bilik is the Talmudic Tom, Dick, and Harry. Who should enjoy it? Tom, Dick, and Harry? Some say that Chilik and Bilik were wicked judges of Sidon. Says the Gemara, La'afukim et Rab Hillel, The Amar Ein Mashiach li Yisrael. There won't be times of enjoyment for Yisrael. Shekvar achalu b'mei Chizkiah. They already consumed it during the days of Chizkiah. Remember, there was a want that Chizkiah should be Mashiach. Just he lost it because he didn't say Shira. Amar Rav li Ivrei Alma ela David. The world was created for David. In other words, the time of the greatest height of welfare was at the time of David HaMelech. Shmuel Amal Moshe, it was at the time of Moshe, when we ate the man and we were under the Anani HaKavod. Reb Yochanan Amal Mashiach, it will be at the time of Mashiach. So now the Gemara says, what was the name of Mashiach? What's the name of Mashiach? Mashmai. Debei Rabbi Shila Imrei, Shiloi Shmai. His name was Shiloi. His name is Shiloi. Shenama ad ki yavai Shiloi, until Shiloi arrives. Debei Rabbi Yana Imrei, Yinon Shmai. His name is Yinon. Shenama yu Shmai la'olam. His name will be forever, Lifnei Shemesh, as long as the sun. Yinon Shmai. His name is Yinon. Debei Rabbi Chanina Amar, Chanina Shmai. Rabbi Chanina said a memra about his own name. Chanina Shmai. His name is Chanina. Shenemar Asher lo etein lochem Chanina. There's a famous Maritz Chias that Amoiras used to try to say a memra attached to their name. Like there's a Rav Migdala said a din about a find that's in the shape of a migdal. We have several times in Shas that people said a mimer attached to their name, right? Like Barry would say something about cement shoes, right? That's the way it is. But Mark is getting nervous. You see that? No, Barry, don't worry. Barry is not anywhere near Bela Kinwood. But anyway, on the other hand, Ruvain, you're pretty close to Barry, so I would be a little bit careful if I was you. Says the Gemara, V'yesh Oimrim Menachem ben Chizkiah Shmai. His name is Menachem. Shenema kirachak mimeni. There is distant from me Menachem, who is Meishav Nafshi, who will restore my soul. V'Rabbana Nimri Chivra debei Rabbi Shmo. Chivra. That means somebody was white. A leper of the house of Rabbi was his name. Shenemer Achein Chalayenu Hunasa. He carries our sickness. Umachavenu Savalam. And he has as a burden our pain. V'anachnu Chashvenu. We considered him Nagua as a leper. Muka Elikim, one who is smitten by God. Umu'una, and afflicted. Amar Rav Nachman, Imin Chayahu, if he's from the living, then Kigain Ana, then it's like I. Shenema V'haya Adiro Mimenu, and their mighty one will be from them, Umoshloi Mikirba Yetze, and their ruler will come from their midst. Amar Rav, in Min Chayahu, if it's from the living, Kigayin Rabbeinu HaKadosh, like the great Rabbeinu HaKadosh. In Memeisayahu, Kigayin Daniel Ish Chamudais, like Daniel, the most desirous of men. Remember, I told you that the name Daniel is the same letters as La Adonai, because Daniel was the quintessential Eved Hashem. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav, Osid HaKadosh Baruch Hu lahamid lohem David Acher. Hashem will bring to them a new David. Not the original David, but a new David. Shenema va'avdu es Hashem alikayim, ve'ez David malkim, asher okim lohem. That I will make for them. Heikim loinemer, it doesn't say he will raise him. Ela okim, it will be in the future. David Avdi Nasi Lahem La'ilam. David, my servant, will be prince forever. Says, Kigan Keser Upalge Keser. It's like a czar and a vice czar. The new David will be the czar, the Caesar, the president, the king. And the old David HaMelech, will be the viceroy, will be the vice president, will be the vice czar. Okay, Rabbi Isai, we did the Mishnah Yomis already. We now are going to do a chak. Just getting started over here at the Agudas Yisrael Beis Zev. We want to remind you, if anybody wants me to take care of their mechiras chametz, just email me and I'll email you a shtar, or text me with your email that you want a shtar. Also, if you would like to sponsor the Haggadah Shir this Wednesday night, tomorrow night, as a matter of fact, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com, and have a wonderful evening, everyone.